What's up, everybody? Welcome to the video. It's official. It's official. Prep has begun. We began our first pull down today. Well, yesterday actually. So its only change is rest day food, and just a little tiny bit on training days. So I'm down to 700 carb on training days. So I'm still fucking high. But rest days are down to 225 carb and 225 protein, and 140 fat. So you could say we are on that train to getting lean, and I cannot wait. Today I've got a leg day, so I'm going to take you through the full leg day, the full workout. I'm going to explain warming up, I'm going to explain everything that I do, and hopefully we can get some good PBs on the board. But first, you just see me conjure my intra workout. Now there's a lot of discussion about intra workout. Are they needed? Are they this? Are they that? Nothing is needed in bodybuilding. However, if you're trying to get those marginal gains, if you're trying to get those 0.01%, those 0.1%, then you should be doing them. And I believe intra is one of those marginal gains. Now the reason is not necessarily to give you more fuel in your workout, but to promote the recovery post-workout, using very, very easily digestible foods that have almost, hardly any impact on your digestive system. Now the main ingredients, EAAs, if you're going to have any kind of AAs, amino acids, get EAAs. I use the ones from Supplement Needs, from Insight Supplements. They are amazing. They've got citrulline in there, taurine in there, sodium, potassium, all for hydration, cellular hydration, as well as promoting a pump through the citrulline. But also the EAAs are very, very easily digestible source of protein. The thing about EAAs is they're super digestible. They are very, very easy for the body to consume and assimilate. So it makes sense to kind of put them intra workout, because if there's a demand for it, you're supplying that demand, and obviously putting yourself into muscle breakdown, actually halting and going catabolic while you train, because you're not going to be anabolic, because anabolic is rebuilding, recovering, you'll be catabolic, but you've got that anabolic food ready for you post workout. As soon as you need to use it, your body can use it. And likewise with the carbohydrates, I use highly browned cyclodextrin. The reason why we use highly browned cyclodextrin versus something like a dextrose or maltodextrin is just because of the molecular weight. Now the molecular weight of a highly browned cyclodextrin molecule is a lot lighter than a dextrose or a maltodextrin, which allows it to pass through the gastric lining quicker. It allows it to get assimilated quicker, and it just spends less time in the gastric system. Which means it's not going to cause bloat, which means it doesn't need as much blood to help to digest and pull to the area. I think if we're training like a bench press, we want the muscle, we want all the blood to be up here. We don't want to have a bloated stomach full of, highly indigestible protein and highly indigestible carbohydrates, because it's just going to be focusing on that. You want something that's going to assimilate very, very quickly, which is highly browned cyclodextrin, EAAs. We also add glycine in there. There's a little bit of research to say that glycine can help with the recovery protocol. It is an amino acid as well. So I just kind of throw it in there. And then creatine. No real reason why as intra. It's just a shake that I drink every day that I can remember to put creatine in. You can do it in any one of your shakes as long as you're taking 5 grams a day. No loading protocol. You just saturate yourself over time. And once those creatine molecules are available, you will then use it through creatine phosphate, etc., etc. So that's pretty much the intra. That's the reasoning behind it, just to help recovery post-workout. Some people say that they feel like they can keep going for longer. Maybe that's true. I read a study saying that I think it was done on like the average high-performance athlete, so it was a pretty decent study, to be honest. And it said that we deplete about 30 grams of carbohydrates every 60 to 90 minutes, depending on the person. So, you could base your intra off of that. If you're working out for 2 hours, try 60 grams. If you're working out for, an hour, try 30 grams. I do 80 because for me it's also another eating window when food gets very, very high. It's another opportunity to get food in. It's another opportunity to get more food in. So I use it as an eating window as well. That's pretty much it behind Intra. Just promote recovery and all that kind of stuff. along with cellular hydration intra workout. Let's get into the workout. It's going to be a big one. I'm also taking a week off caffeine, or 2 weeks off caffeine, as it's going to be like I'm going into prep, so I want to be hyper responsive to caffeine when it comes. So 2 weeks off, I'm on the third day now, and I'm just a bit like, you know, my motivation's a bit, but I'm going to have a pump product today. So let's get into it. To hit a few extensions before we get into a high squat. The reason being just getting some blood in the knees, getting some movement in the knees, getting some fluid around the knee joint. Much safer when you come to the big compound lift. So 2 sets of leg extensions, still faded still, ready to squat. Real talk, not feeling it. I wasn't feeling it yesterday, I wasn't feeling it the day before. Today's Wednesday, so since Sunday, just had like, just feel fucking whatever. You know, motivation has been lower. My fucking knees are hurting, my hips are hurting, my pecs hurting. I don't need to be pushing anymore. I'm gonna take a deload as of right now. Didn't think I'll be doing this mid-session, but you know when it's just like, I could push through and I could get injured and I could really grind out these reps, but I've got prep to think about. You know, I'm starting in 10 days. I can't be risking injury, I can't be risking anything like that, so I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do a bare minimum today. Minimum effective volume. I'm still gonna keep intensity fairly high. I'm literally gonna do 1 set on the hack squat. I'm gonna do 1 set on the hamstrings. I've already done leg extensions. I'm gonna do a little bit of calves, and then I'm done. Fuck me. I am a sorry sight. Literally just got out of this car about half an hour ago. You know what? It just is what it fucking is, right? I put a post up this morning on my Instagram talking about motivation and how I'd been feeling a little bit, like it all makes sense obviously now, thinking I just need a deload, need to relax a little bit, but we also remain tactile, we remain clever to the situation, you know. I could have gone in, I could have dragged out some weights, you know, I could have pushed these little niggles that I've got even further, but that's not the smart decision, knowing what I've got ahead of me. You know, I've got, you know, 6 months of prep, 6 months of being very, very lean, 6 months of being very, very just hardcore and not being able to take these days where I feel fucked off. So I made the smart decision and called it where it was. I didn't even go and do hamstrings. I was going to do it, and I just thought, I am just fried, mentally fried. So I'm going to head back, I'm going to put my feet up, I'm going to do some check-ins, I'm going to get my steps in. I'm going to treat this day as is, as a training day. I've done a little bit today. I worked hard at the start, but not to what it used to be. But just live by that rule, guys. You know, motivation comes and goes, but discipline will always stay. Stick to the plan, but play the smart game as well. Like I say, yes, stick to the plan, but I don't mean like stick to your training session if you just can't physically do it. you got to stick to that long game, which is the game we're playing here, guys. So off to head home for some check-ins. Back to a CBD order from the guys at Love Hemp. I just take these tablets now, which is why I got 3 of them. They're quite strong. They're 25 milligram tablets, but it saves me so much energy and time. So I can just literally just pick them up and eat them. So I feel like this video is shit. I feel like I've kind of failed in this video. I feel like, you know what, what my girlfriend said to me yesterday is I need to separate my moods and my motivation and lack of and all that kind of stuff with YouTube, with podcasting, with Instagram and all that, because essentially like that is my business, you know. So if my motivation starts to slack and that starts to slack, so does my business, you know. And I think it's a very important factor that she said that I need to keep those separate. So despite the negativity of this video and having to stop that session, I'm going to convert it into something positive. So we've talked a little bit about recovery and intra workouts. Now I want to talk about deloads, when to take them, how to take them, when to know when to take them. Now there's a lot of umming and ahhing about when to deload and how often you should deload. Some people do it every 4 or 5 weeks, some people do it every 16 weeks, some people do it in between. I would say a deload would, for me personally, and for my clients personally, the way we train, obviously slightly lower volume, higher intensity, but managing recovery the best that we can, would probably last anywhere between 8 and 13, maybe 14 weeks if you're assisted. Why? Because recovery is a little bit better. You can recover from all these things, but you will build up a cumulative fatigue. Getting stronger week on week on week, increasing volume week on week on week is not linear. You cannot physically do that day in, day out. So sometimes you need to take a step back, and then you need to be able to take that week off and recognize when the signs are telling you that you need a week off. Now, the general signs for a deload: mental fatigue, mental fatigue. So you know, maybe you're not maybe you're not as clear as normal, not as much clarity as normal. You could just kind of get a bit, not confused, but just a bit like, why can't I just answer this? You know, kind of that mental fog we talk about. Digestion can take a hit. My digestion's been fine actually, but digestion can take a hit. So sometimes when you're working too hard, you're just in an inflamed state. So when you're putting food into yourself in an inflamed state, you promote even more inflammation. It can cause effects like that. Sleep, might not be sleeping as well. Thinking about it, I've not been sleeping as well the last 3 days, which is quite good to go over. And then the standard stuff like progress in the gym becoming very, very hard. You know, even if you're in a surplus, even if you're feeling otherwise good, progress can really start to slow. Maybe a few niggles, not like injuries, but just like, oh, I feel that. You know. So today I felt something in my hip, I felt something in my knee, and I felt something in my back. They're not injuries. I just know that they're use injuries, overuse injuries, and I've been pounding a lot of strength on. In the last 12 weeks that I've been running this training cycle, you know, like I stripped down my volume. You know, I just got to like week 4 of anabolics, so they're all peaking. So I got very, very strong very quickly. I stuck like 40 kilos on nearly all my lifts, and I think it's just catching up with me. So those are some of the signs of a deload. From there, you literally just rest more. Take like an extra rest day. Take out your hardest session. Drop all your intensity to like a 7. RP 7, you know, maybe add a little bit more volume in there, in terms of sets and reps, but really just easing off that intensity, reducing that neural fatigue, which can build up with those big central nervous system movers like a squat, you know, bench, deadlift, hack squat, all that kind of stuff. Those big compounds, they will add CNS fatigue. So recognizing when it is too much is a very, very big thing. Now, it's very difficult to note that in terms of coaching. Obviously, I'm a full-time online coach, which is where the biofeedback comes in. So blood glucose can skew, blood pressure can skew, resting heart rate can skew. What else do we do? HRV, heart rate variability can skew. All these things will start to skew when you're just pushing too much or coming close into that. Just being too sympathetic. When we talk about the autonomic nervous system, we've got parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic. Sympathetic being our like highly aware, fight or flight, adrenaline pumping, not really focusing on recovery. Like if we're in that sympathetic state a lot, we're not going to recover, we're not going to progress as well. So it's just about finding that balance. I'm going to end that video there, guys. Like I don't really have much else to do today. I just need to do a whole load of check-ins. Wednesday is my biggest check-in day, closely followed by Tuesdays now. And that's it, dudes and dudettes. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of an insight into the real world. Like I want to show you the good, obviously, but I also want to show you the bad, because I think that's something that I'm not good at, is opening up to anyone. My girlfriend will tell you this, my mum will tell you this. I'm not very good at talking about my problems. I'm not very good at. In fact, you know what? I'm quite good at talking about my problems, but when there's no one here, like it's quite easy talking to a camera right now, and it's quite easy talking to a podcast about how I feel. But it's way harder for me to do it to a person, in person. So that's something I need to work on. I wasn't even meant to say that, but I just came out like that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let's build this family on YouTube. Prep is coming, 18 weeks out.